Welcome back to the Chaos Quasi Podcast.
The Qaos podcast.
The Qaos Podcast. All right. Today
is a big day.
A huge day.
But it's just the two of us.
Yeah, it's Thomas and Shantanu.
The devs are working.
Because, we're working on a really, really cool product that we're hoping to launch very soon. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Well, today, even just like the past couple of days, some crazy things have happened. I remember in the last episode we said we were going to talk about Meta's text to 4D. No. Irrelevant. We're already past that. All right, we're moving on.
This industry moves fast.
Yeah, this industry moves fast, and so does the content that comes with it. So we're going to be moving on to the big talk of the past 2 days, which has literally just been the start of the AI wars.
Yeah. Google, we were talking about Google LM Music?
Yeah, we were talking about Music LM last week.
Yeah. And Google came out with Bard.
Yeah, it used to be called Apprentice Bard, but now it's just Bard.
Yeah, Shantanu and I have been talking about the name.
Oh my god.
I don't...
Even if they misspelled it and said Brad, it would have been better than Bard.
It's growing on me a little bit, but... Okay, it's better than GPT because people are like Chat GTP.
Yeah, but also I just feel like Bard is just such a negative word. I don't know. It's like Bard.
It means like storyteller, I think. It
means storyteller, but it just sounds like negative, like Bard.
It sounds like bored. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like bored.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't make me excited. Unlike Microsoft's Prometheus.
Yeah, Prometheus just sounds like it's literally... What was the definition you saw?
It's like the demigod that stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity.
Exactly. Tell me that is not the most amazing name for a model that is changing the entire game of searching.
Yeah.
So to dive a little bit deeper into it, we'll start off with Google. We'll talk about then Microsoft and Bing and Edge. And then we'll kind of talk about why we think the AI wars are happening, what may happen.
It's not even think at this point.
Yeah, it is just happening.
It's like day 2 of the war. The war started yesterday when Google announced Bard.
Yeah.
And
they're taking jabs at Microsoft basically in the release.
Yeah, they did it in a blog done by Sundar Pichai.
Yeah.
Most of the blog was about Bard. We saw 2 screenshots of it. It looked
like a GIF.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. I liked how there was a button. We never saw it get clicked, but it was a button that was check or see sources or check.
Check it.
Yeah, and then it was an arrow down, and I was assuming you'd click that and it would show you links of where it got the information to generate from, which I think would be good because that is kind of a problem with generative search right now is its accuracy.
Yeah. And so that came out and everyone was making, press releases, posts saying oh my god, Google finally came out with its ChatGPT competitor. It's doing this. But let's think about this. They launched it in a press release. It's not available to even beta testers yet. And it's supposed to be coming out in the next couple of months.
Yeah,
where is Google?
They made they probably just had to release something because they're getting so much negative press for doing nothing, and their thing isn't ready yet.
Yeah, here's what I think was actually supposed to happen. ChatGPT was getting to a culmination point. Plus, there were leaks of the Bing chat that we'll talk about a little bit later, and because of that, Google had to push up the date for announcing it. And so instead of doing a press event, they did a video, a blog. But tomorrow at Google is hosting a search and AI event in Paris. So it's I have a feeling that that's where they were going to announce Bard and show it in a video.
They had to move it up because they couldn't let Microsoft beat them to the punch.
Exactly, and this was literally the first time that Google has done something this rushed. Especially because normally if Microsoft does something, they just ignore them.
The crazy thing is that it didn't have to be rushed. I mean, Google came up with the Transformers architecture way back in I think it was 2017.
Yeah.
They have a strong history with NLP in search and text. They have a boatload of data. They have their own cloud provider. Like, they could have put it together, and they've been working on Lambda for at least a year.
Yeah, I've been hearing about Lambda since like COVID.
Yeah, but they haven't released any product. No beta testers have tried anything. OpenAI has beat them to the punch with their own inventions, and now just got like $10 billion from Microsoft.
Exactly.
I don't know. My faith in Google releasing a good AI product is going down. It's not zero, but it's definitely gone down drastically.
I think, I don't think the product is going to be bad, honestly. I think it's more of just Google just sucks at marketing and they suck at just PR. Like, Google has never done a good job, even with the Pixel lineup, with any of their products, they've never done well with marketing. So, and on top of that, the reason why they felt extra pressure is because imagine that, like, this situation, hypothetically, Google didn't release or announce Bard on Monday, then, there's all this, like, literally the entire tech world is talking about ChatGPT and Microsoft, and then the leaks of the images come out on Monday, and on top of that, Microsoft is slated to just announce Bing Chat and all these new innovations.
Yeah, they had to do something.
If they had done so much and Google didn't do anything when they were the originators for GPT, that's crazy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But in that blog post by Sundar, there was I don't think most people didn't read the whole thing.
They just saw the pictures.
Yeah, but the pictures were eye candy. Don't get me wrong.
They used an iPhone.
Really? Oh yeah, they did.
They used an iPhone instead of a Pixel for their marketing promo, which just goes to show you how bad they are at marketing.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I know that was rushed. I know that an intern probably put that the actual page together.
Because I have free pictures of iPhone material.
I wonder if they changed it by now. That'd be kind of funny.
Probably not.
But anyways, at the very below the iPhone image, there was a short paragraph, which I feel like is very indicative of the war, which is that they not only announced AI search with Bard, they also announced that they're going to have Lambda be API callable, as well as their Imagen, their text to video, and their music. And OpenAI hasn't even announced Jukebox 2, which they're expected to pretty soon.
Yeah.
And they OpenAI. We haven't seen any text to video from OpenAI.
Yeah.
So if Google can pull off their API products to compete with OpenAI, that'd be great.
Yeah. All right. Let's dive into Microsoft a little bit. So then we can kind of talk a little bit more in context of just the war.
So I didn't watch the Microsoft event. I know that you did.
Okay.
I was coding.
Yeah.
But I read some stuff about it.
Yeah. So a lot of a truly insane amount of knowledge was dropped in 40 minutes.
We knew that this event was going to be about AI because Sam Altman tweeted a picture of him and
Satya yesterday, meaning basically they posted a picture on Twitter an hour after Google announced Bard.
So they must have been recording something.
Yeah,
or
planning, prepping for this event.
Yeah, So we knew it was going to be about AI, or else why would
Sam Altman be there?
Yeah, exactly.
And then lo and behold, they were first talking. So actually, there's some really interesting things that they were mentioning in the beginning, where they were saying that there are a good amount of people that are using Copilot, GitHub Copilot, for 80% of their workflow. Over 80%. They have documented metrics of code that is 80% written by Copilot.
Copilot's great.
It's phenomenal. And so they were saying okay, clearly people value this in a developer perspective, but how can we extrapolate this technology to consumers? Well, we saw the craziness of ChatGPT. So, Microsoft was all right, let's integrate this and try to beat Google to the punch by integrating into their search engine with Bing.
We sort of heard rumblings of this integration last year.
Yeah.
In December.
Even earlier than that, honestly.
It was after ChatGPT.
Yes.
It wasn't before, but as soon as they saw, as soon as Chat got like 1 million users in like whatever, like
in 5 days.
Yeah, like less than a week. I'm sure they started planning it.
Oh, for sure.
And the fact that they announced it today.
Mm-hmm. There are a few other features and things that are happening.
Yeah, and their announcement was much more shoveled than Google's not even blog.
It's like 2 paragraphs.
Yeah, there's a wait list. You could sign it up. They had beta testers.
Mm-hmm. They had demos. They had full marketing promo.
Yeah.
Like, everything's going at full speed.
Yeah, and it's like they didn't just release, a paper saying that they were going to release something. They released it, and you could, like, sign up to be a beta tester.
Yeah, and at the event, they had, like, laptops set up with basically with, like, live demos that people could try out of the new Edge browser and Bing Chat. So talk a little bit more about Bing Chat, essentially
Is it called Bing Chat?
I think so. Or like at least it's Bing, but then there's like search, images, flights.
In like at the tab.
Yeah, so the sub tab is chat. So that's why I'm just calling it Bing search, Bing Chat.
Yeah.
But basically they basically added a sub tab called Chat, and it's essentially the ChatGPT like style where it's a chat box. You can type in a like prompt, whatever you're interested in. The caveat is that one, ChatGPT's data is quite old, and because it's not always learning and always like scraping new information.
It's probably like a year, if not 2 years old. Actually, no, it's probably about a year because
it's 6 months to a year because they know that the Queen died.
Oh yeah,
Right, so like you can do in context.
Either way, it's not up to date real time.
Exactly, but this new model that they're using, it's not ChatGPT and it's not GPT 3.5. It's this new model that OpenAI is dubbing as Prometheus, where basically
which is secretly GPT-4. We all know.
Yeah, we all basically know.
We all know.
Essentially, this model can get real-time information from the internet and from search results, and essentially scrape websites, scrape data, and combine to like consolidate it like a response. So if you search for like a travel itinerary to Mexico, it will give you like a list of places, recommendations, reviews from the most recent blogs. So it has that kind of up-to-date information. So yeah, basically ChatGPT inside a sub-tab within Bing. Also, on the side of your search results in Bing, ChatGPT Bing Chat, essentially. Sorry, I'm going to conflate the two. But
let's just call it Chat.
Yeah, Bing Chat is essentially, there's going to be a little bubble on the side that says, hey, here's kind of like what we are thinking about this. And then you can like open up the full response into this sub-tab. But
I wonder if it can code.
I don't think it can. And the only reason why is because most people, if they want to code, they'll just go to Copilot.
I mean, I code, and sometimes Copilot's good for when you're in IDE and you're just tabbing through some structure that is pretty uniform. But if I want to write a new method or something, I would usually go to Chat and be like, write a baseline method, and then I would go and basically get inspired and sort of write my own.
Okay, so then I think that your feature request essentially is what their second product is more about, which is Microsoft Edge, the browser, is essentially going to be getting a direct integration with a version of Bing Chat. It's essentially going to be straight plugged in on the side of every web page, and you can essentially scrape it real time and say, hey, summarize this blog that was written 2 minutes ago for me, and it'll scrape it, give you a summary. Or you can ask it to write in an academic tone for a LinkedIn post. Different things like that. You will get essentially real-time input and a real-time output all integrated into the browser.
You can query any web page.
Any web page. But it's because it's integrated right next to the page you're loading, it makes it even easier and simpler. If I had this right now, I would switch to Microsoft Edge immediately.
Well, I already use Edge. I just can't wait till I can get the feature.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Mac user, so Edge is the last thought for me, but I'm very compelled.
Yeah. Sort of, I guess on like an overarching thing is, at least I know for me, my calls to GPT-3 have been remarkably slow.
Oh yeah.
As of late. Like I've been making calls to GPT-3 since before it was public, and like those calls were speedy, even on DaVinci. And now like my Curie and Babbage calls are getting hella slow.
Yeah, Curie and Babbage are like the cheapest of the cheap like OpenAI models.
The cheapest is Ada, but nobody uses that.
Yeah, like basically it's like a lower quality version of the GPT-3 or ChatGPT you guys know.
But it's faster.
But it's a lot faster.
Yeah. But yeah, my calls are getting super slow. ChatGPT is still going down all the time. Copilot is now like it's not working sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, it'll just not return anything. And like I know that like they must be getting so many calls. If there's 100 million users on ChatGPT,
yeah,
they're getting like at least 50 million requests a day, plus Copilot. It like every character it'll check. So that's at least another 50 million calls, and then you have now this thing with Microsoft and Edge on every website. But insane calls, and there's no way they're making money with this. There's no way anyone is making money with this because it's just so expensive to run. Like I think that's why Google has been taking so long, is because like Microsoft is just shoveling money into the fire.
Yeah.
And by fire I mean like into Azure, which must be actively on fire. Whereas Google is like, I don't
even know.
I don't think that maybe they can't, like I feel like they can't afford it.
Like they have Google Cloud.
But like afford losing a bunch of money.
Oh.
I think Microsoft is way more bullish on losing money, whereas Google is a little bit more skittish. I know that Google has been dealing with a lot of hardships in that, like they laid off 6% of their workforce. There was an open letter to Google from a big investor, some sort of hedge fund, a few months ago, saying that like they should only focus on search and get rid of all these like research projects.
Oh, and also in that 6% layoff, it was completely random. It wasn't based on performance, which means that some of the top Google engineers have left.
I know that like some people are just leaving Google because
they're pissed off.
Yeah, and I know that like Google is something is going on. I mean, we don't know what's going on internally, but like externally, it looks like something is going on internally.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to damage control as much as possible, but you can only go so far.
Yeah, I have a question for you. Is like GPT-3, GPT-4, all of the chat, text stuff, are we getting to a point where the AI innovations are growing at a faster rate than the hardware that's available to support it?
Oh, definitely. I think, yeah, like AI is very math intensive. It's very computationally intensive. Most packages that are used for ML and AI are based off of CUDA, which is owned by NVIDIA. So most like hardcore AI work you can only do on really NVIDIA GPUs. And NVIDIA GPUs are expensive because they know that you can only do AI stuff on them, and there's a chip shortage. And thankfully, with crypto's collapse, a bunch of GPUs have flooded the market, but they've been mined on, and so it's like they're not going into Azure, or they're not going into like these big cloud computing platforms, which is where they should be going, but because they don't buy secondhand, especially after it's been mined. But they're going into like probably smaller data centers or even homes where people can game and do AI on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think that we're in a dire need of some AI specific hardware.
Yeah, because like if you think about it, just like for contextually, like I personally feel that companies like Apple, for example, their hardware is far superior to their software. Like they have gone so cracked on their hardware that their software team just can't keep up, and their software team is not making good software anymore. And I think it's kind of like a flip for just the generative AI space, where it's like the software is getting so good that the hardware is just struggling to make ends meet. That's why we're seeing all these like slowdowns. Because
who knows when it'll end?
Right? Who knows when it'll end?
If anything, it's been getting worse.
And
every day.
With GPT-4 apparently having way more like parameters in a larger training set, like it might be even crazier.
Yeah, and even GPT-4 is going to very likely be more expensive to run than GPT-3, and Lambda is going to be at least that expensive. Google's Lambda.
Yeah,
and like. We know that OpenAI is losing an insane amount of money, and their cloud burn is like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking a little bit about it last week, where like OpenAI in 2022 only made like 36 million, but they burned like over $500 million, 544 million to be exact.
Yeah, so
like literally,
all of AI is nowhere near profitable. And will probably not be for a while. But it's too late to put the cat back in the bag. Or I don't know what the saying is.
Yeah.
That, people are just going forward and they're willing to burn money to get an advantage in the space because that's how much they believe in it.
Yeah. I do have an interesting,
Google's definitely going to lose a bunch of money when they release
Bard.
Yeah. Especially because Bard is probably going to get more users than Chat GPT.
Yeah, it'll probably be at least triple.
Yeah, like 600 or 900 million.
Yeah. I do have an interesting thought that, like, in the Microsoft announcement today that, Satya Nadella was talking about, which is this concept of, all the Microsoft AI tools. We're not talking about OpenAI, but Microsoft, the company itself. All of these tools that they're integrating into their suite of products and services, he's been, consistently saying that he's trying to build the perfect co-pilot. Satya Nadella.
Yeah.
He's trying to build a perfect co-pilot or companion. With, Bing Chat, it's to help you get better answers or better results, more curated to what you're looking for. And with DALL-E, at least they released Microsoft Designer today in the public beta, right? They want to be a co-pilot or a companion to designers. It's like, hey, you can generate an image here. We can help you stylize it or give you some inspiration. We'll give you a jumping off point, and then you can take it from here.
Yeah,
I think that's a very interesting angle, and it's very different than OpenAI's angle.
OpenAI's angle is to make AGI.
Yeah,
it's not even an angle. It's just like a goal.
Yeah,
and I think they see Microsoft as being able to fund that endeavor, and we all know that Sam Altman is a good strategist, and it has been showing.
It's his superpower.
Yeah. Let's talk about the future of the AI war. What are the next steps? We know that Google is doing an event tomorrow in Paris
at 8:30 a.m. Eastern.
Do we know when Bing Chat is going to be completely open?
It's not been officially announced. I'm sure Microsoft's going to be putting out more press this week, but most likely they're already starting to take people off the wait list. And it's been 12 hours. So they're probably going to do a similar rollout to DALL-E, where they did the closed beta for a couple weeks, then open beta for the rest, and then they made it fully public.
DALL-E was closed beta for months.
I'm talking about when they in June when they did their public beta.
Oh,
they did the couple months they took people off the wait list in order, and then they fully made it open public, and then they did the API. Yeah. I'm saying that's kind of the strategy that I'm sure Bing is going to do.
Yeah, when's the ETA on Google's Bard?
I think what's going to happen is Google is going to release Bard March. March is going to be when Google's going to make the huge push post GPT-4. And then at Google I/O, which is in May, I think it's in May, yeah. Google I/O in May, they're going to announce Lambda 2 and integrating that into and then talking about Lambda 1 API while they're talking about Lambda 2. They're going to talk about Imagine API. They're going to talk about Imagine Video or Finaki. And no API there, but they're going to announce it in Finaki version 2. They're going to talk about Music LM and hopefully making an API for that. That'll be sick.
That'd be awesome.
And then they're going to talk about like pixel stuff and like hardware or whatever. But the main focus of that event is just going to be like APIs, doing the next generation of things that they've been doing in like Google research for like years, and then that's about it. But the rollout's going to be like, I feel like it's going to be really slow.
Yeah. Well, like the early days of this AI war is going to be very important.
Yeah.
Especially, you mentioned GPT-4.
Mm-hmm.
It could be coming soon.
Yeah.
Prometheus is basically GPT-4.
It feels like a code name for GPT-4.
It really does. So hopefully we haven't heard any new things from OpenAI since, Point E?
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
And we've heard rumors that GPT-4 is set to come out around this time, like early 2023. So hopefully in the next week, or at least few weeks, we hear something. And they're probably going to do like a closed beta, and then a public beta, and then fully open.
Yeah.
Like they did with GPT-3 a year ago.
Mm-hmm. So, it'll definitely be interesting. And on top of that, like, OpenAI is not just... Like, OpenAI has a lot of projects to work on, right? Like, they're making their products in separate models just for Microsoft, right? They basically made Copilot, which is a branch off of Codex.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, like, OpenAI Codex, and then there's, like, Microsoft Copilot. Those are, like, the two for both companies. Then there's GPT-4 and Prometheus for kind of just the general stuff. Then we have, like, Jukebox and whatever that could be for Microsoft. Then DALL-E, Microsoft Designer. Like, there's a lot of, like, separate but, like, similar vein stuff that OpenAI is working. There's truly a lot of projects.
Yeah, and, I mean, another thing that was in the news today is Stability.
Oh, yeah.
Getting sued by Getty Images for a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, apparently the lawsuit was asking for $150,000 per image stolen, and there's over 12 million images that Stability allegedly stole.
Yeah, so that'll be really interesting. I know that of the AI companies, the big ones currently, Stability probably has one of the best reputations.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're making great open source products.
Mm-hmm.
The AI community loves them. Consumers love them. They're working on music too, and a bunch of other things. And so,
yeah, Stability has a better reputation than Midjourney.
Midjourney is second best.
It's second best.
It's only bad because they keep using Discord.
Well, they use Discord, and they, like whenever there's like some sort of turmoil, Midjourney like just has terrible responses. And also, they blocked us on Twitter, so well, there's a little bit there.
Yeah, they blocked us on Twitter a while ago.
Yeah, they blocked us before they even popped off.
Yeah, before they even were like public.
Yeah, this is like late May, but whatever.
Anyways, water under the bridge.
Exactly.
Midjourney, we love you.
Yeah, we love you. We think you're awesome. We use Midjourney.
V4 is great. The best. For sure.
Oh, it is the best
text
engine pipeline I've ever seen.
Out of any company.
Oh, yeah.
So pop off in that respect.
Congratulations. If you want to unblock us, we're open to chat.
We're open to chat, not chat GPT.
Amen. Yeah.
Open to in-person chat.
Exactly.
But yeah, so Stability is getting sued.
Mm-hmm.
They're like the golden AI company.
Yeah.
Not in terms of money, but in terms of reputation.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of money, they probably have the least.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why Getty Images would go after them, because they're rekept,
Mm-hmm.
and it's their best chance of winning. if Getty Image wins, it would be such a huge blow to
just the world of
AI development.
Yeah, because the thing is that the moment, like, if Getty Images wins, then anytime music comes out, like that will, it's like the mark that Theranos left on like the biomedical startup industry. It's like when Theranos went down, so many investors were afraid to invest in like biomedical startups because they thought it was just going to be a repeat thing. And I think a similar thing may happen is that if Getty Images wins, there's precedence now in the legal system. And so a lot of people will be afraid to even just innovate within just generative AI. So,
Yeah, the thing is that, like, for the chance that Getty wins is very low.
Yeah.
Because Stability didn't steal the images. Because they just took the cover of the images. The images still have the Getty image watermark on them. So they didn't, like, those images are public to the internet from Getty's. So it's kind of weird for Getty Images to say that, like, you can't take those even though they are putting them out in the world. Mm-hmm. It is a gray area, for sure.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. I also think that other AI companies, like OpenAI with DALL-E, for sure Microsoft and Google and any other players, like potentially Facebook, are also watching this case, because if this case goes in the way of Getty Images, then they're next on the chopping block. And they have way more money, so people are more incented to sue them if they're going to win, especially.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people just love suing in the great United States of America. So,
yeah.
People will literally sue for anything. And I also think that this is a benefit. This gives Stability an advantage, because Google and Microsoft put a lot of money into these things. Meta also put a great amount of money into their AI stuff. So they sort of have a pseudo-vested interest in seeing that this case goes in Stability's favor.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Like, regardless of what happens, like, the big tech companies are not going to let their investment go to waste.
Yeah. I definitely think that very likely Stability is going to win. But this does bring into consideration AI music, which is going to probably be coming out soon in a much better way than in the past.
Yeah.
Whether AI music can be trained off of copyright music if, it doesn't output any copyright things. Mm-hmm. Does it still count as copyright? Nobody knows. The question is, who's going to have the balls to train their model on a bunch of copyright music and risk getting sued by the record labels? Mm-hmm. We all know how that went for Napster. Mm-hmm. That went bad for Napster. And
we saw the tail end of it with Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify got sued. They made it out. But the record labels love to sue, and they have very good lawyers. So...
yeah. I think it's going to be interesting. Like, the angle that Midjourney took, like, is sort of like a hidden gem, where Midjourney really, like, branded themselves as being for artists. Like, they even, like, part of their interface, at least on their website, is that artists can upload their work to have a mini Midjourney model be trained off of it, so then they can start generating more images in their personal style. And so then that foregoes any copyright concerns, because the artists are willingly training the model, and they're willingly doing this. So, I think it'll be very interesting to see if there's another company that kind of takes a page out of Midjourney's book, but just apply it to music, where they essentially let artists upload their style or their, like, album, and then just extrapolate from there and generate new content.
Yeah. I wonder how long that business model is going to last, because, like, some people refuse to upload images to Midjourney because they know that Midjourney is just going to take those images and train the next Midjourney version off of it. Same for any potential music venture or model out there.
Yeah. So, I mean, arguably, every time you use ChatGPT, it's training the model.
For sure.
Right? So it's like, basically anything that uses AI is just...
it's gonna be trained in the model. The thing is that like my questions to ChatGPT aren't copyright, and most of them are stupid anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like, sure, have it. Train it.
Exactly.
But I feel like in the position of an artist who mixes and spend a bunch of time making a song, for example, just giving up that right when you could sell it to a label company for millions of dollars, but it is like not worth it, probably. But the question still remains, like, the exact copyright music is never getting generated. It's more like used in a model. So to make other derivative work, I'm assuming that's what they're going to argue, is that like the output of the model is not copyright, it's derivative work of copyright work. And because it's derivative work, it's allowed.
Yeah, and like, I mean, if you think about it, like let's replace the word AI with another artist, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, another artist was inspired by Taylor Swift's album and made a new soundtrack. Okay, let's reinsert AI. An AI was inspired by Taylor Swift's album and made a new soundtrack. Like, one sounds perfectly fine because it's creative and inspirational. The other one sounds scary to a lot of people and grounds for lawsuit, when in reality they're just the two same things. One's just a computer, another one's a human.
Yeah, but many artists have sued other artists.
Oh yeah, for sampling and doing all of that.
Yeah, and so, like, am I a lawyer? No. Is there precedent for this sort of thing? There's probably some.
Very little.
Like, I remember there's the case with, like, Bittersweet Symphony by the Verve. They got sued because their song sounded like another song.
Yeah. Sampling lawsuits are just every day.
Yeah. But either way, no matter what the case of the lawsuit, it's not going to stop the wave of AI. It might slow it down if it goes not in favor of AI, but it
not by much.
But it won't stop it. It's already too late.
It's like trying to put a sea barrier up when the tsunamis come in. It's like, man, you already see it.
Just get to higher ground.
Yeah, just get to higher ground. Like, survive.
Survive.
Yeah. If you didn't put the sea barrier in, or if you didn't plan to live in, like, the mountains from the beginning, like, come on.
We actually live in the mountains.
Amen.
But yeah, I mean, that's all, like, the big AI news.
Yeah. There's a smaller thing that doesn't really matter, but I just,
What?
Apple.
I knew it was going to be this. This is... Okay, fine.
Yeah, I'll allow it because it's Apple. Basically, so Apple is taking a stab at AI stuff as well, and they're hosting internally, for employees only, a WWDC version of AI for their employees in the Steve Jobs Theater. That event, or summit, as they call it, is happening next week. So who knows? Maybe we'll get some leaks from Apple employees about what the summit was about. Maybe they invite press, talk about maybe Siri. Oh, God.
No.
But basically, Apple is now seeing the promise of all of this, and now they're trying to take a stab at it. I don't know what that's going to end up being, but I do know that there is a team in Apple that has been working on a search engine.
Yeah, haven't they been doing it for a while? I feel like if Apple releases an AI product, it's going to be a search engine.
Yeah, just Apple search.
Google.
Yeah. And they already have 1 billion devices where they can roll it out on, because Google pays them like close to $20 billion a year just to be the default like search engine result.
Yeah.
So if Apple just comes out with their own search engine, they just get rid of $20 billion of revenue, which is fine for them because they can afford it.
They have so much money.
They have too much money. So then they're just like, okay, use Apple Search. It's privacy, quote unquote.
I feel like if Apple sees that Google is going the way of the dodo, then they're going to jump at the opportunity to also just try and crush them. Yeah. It is going to be bloody out there in big tech, and everyone's also getting laid off at the same time.
Except for Apple. Apple.
They had a hiring freeze though.
Well, they had a hiring freeze, but they've not laid off any employees outside of like normal ones.
No, that's a normal layoff.
Yeah,
wow,
if
you really
if you're
need to
being
get
laid
laid
off from
off.
Apple, it's like, oh my god, you're actually a terrible employee.
Oh, there's one thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
Google investing $300 million
Into Anthropic.
Yeah. Into a bunch of ex-OpenAI people.
Employees, yeah.
I have a theory. I don't know if it's true, but I suspect that anyone leaving OpenAI right now, the team is tiny.
Yeah.
Like, they just raised $10 billion in the last few weeks. So if you're leaving right now, either you have the best idea ever, or you got fired
Yeah.
and walked out of your office only to find an insane amount of press wondering why you left the most famous AI company, and some people just started coming up to you with blank checks asking you if you have any AI ideas at all, and I'm sure anyone in that position would just say,
Of course I do.
yeah, of course I have an idea, and just start taking checks. And I think that's, and Google needs someone to take a big check and start getting on their side, and what better than a bunch of
Ex-OpenAI.
like
Corporate spies, like a turncoat.
yeah, I think it's more of a PR thing, and the fact that Google has a lot of money.
Yeah.
I
think
don't
this is just to boost. This is to bolster Google Cloud as a leading cloud provider. This is essentially them trying to damage control Azure growing at a crazy rate.
I think it's that, and them trying to be like, oh, we have our own OpenAI. Like, we're going to invest in this AI startup,
That no
a
one's
bunch
heard
of money, and it's going to blow up like OpenAI. And we'll be like Microsoft is to OpenAI what Google is to whatever this company is called.
Yeah.
Um,
The fact that we don't even remember the name.
it was like Anthropic.
Yep, Anthropic.
Okay. I don't know how I feel about the name. But we'll see what happens with that. I don't expect to see anything out of this startup for a while. Even though they just got $300 million.
Yeah, I think
But I'm more than willing to be surprised.
for sure.
If a
for
cool
sure.
thing comes out,
we'll always try it.
yeah, we'll try everything.
Yeah, with that, I think we have officially kicked off the AI wars. Ooh, I kind of have like an interesting analogy.
What? Is it going to be the Star Wars?
Yes.
I knew it!
I mean, it's too
Okay,
good
what is
to
it?
not.
What is
Like,
it?
if you think about it, like, we're not going to say that Google are the separatists, but like, let's just say like Microsoft is the Republic, Google are the separatists, and both sides are fighting in a war that AGI will win. And AGI is like
That's
the
good.
empire.
That is very true.
Right? And it's like ultimately, like, you know, like...
Will there be more than one AGI?
Maybe. But all I'm saying is that, like, a lot of people, the general public right now is just seeing like a catfight between Microsoft and Google. And when in reality, neither are really going to win.
Yeah.
And just like how the Clone Wars ended with Star Wars, where it's like, did the Republic really win? Like, no. The Empire won. Lord Sidious won.
Yeah.
Like, that's who the real winner was. It was one individual that got his agenda met.
So is it going to be Sam Altman and OpenAI making the AGI?
I don't know if I want to associate Sam Altman with Darth Sidious, but
I'm just talking about AGI because that's what.
yeah,
they wanna make.
exactly. But the part of the analogy that I'm trying to say is that neither Microsoft nor Google are actually going to be the winners of this AI war. It's going to be the startups that come out of it.
Yeah, there's going to be so many AI APIs that are going to be way below the cost that they should actually be at.
Exactly, just because of this war.
Just because of this war, and also we're at a time when there's like basically no there's no like precedent for any AI stuff. There's no regulations. Like there'll definitely be regulations in the future for all sorts of things, and right now there's none. and there's a bunch of cheap money and cheap APIs flying all around the place.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be a bunch of startups that are going to take advantage of this and blow up for sure. I think that Stability and Midjourney are examples of already.
Yeah.
Jasper in the business space.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's AI companies coming out all the time. Runway ML.
Yeah, they're doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, some cool video stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's bottom line is just there's startups coming out the wazoo, as Toma likes to say.
Yeah, out the wazoo.
But
such a boomer term. But I love it.
I don't know. You made it sound very Gen Z, so I appreciate it. But yeah, like there's startups coming out the wazoo, and I think it's going to be interesting to just see how, if we replace the word clone with AI, how the AI wars are gonna proceed.
So AI is the empire, or AGI. Sorry,
AGI is
the empire.
Darth Sidious / the Empire. Yes.
Make it sound so scary.
That was not the intention. Like I don't know. Like should we say like the Resistance? It's like
who is the Resistance?
Ooh, Quasi.
Quasi is the Resistance.
Who's
the Jedi?
Who's the Jedi? Man, they died.
Oh.
They died in the Clone Wars.
Oh, so Google?
No. The engineers. Because the AI engineers, because they're just going to be automated.
It'll be hard.
I don't know.
I feel like
this analogy may be being taken far, but
yeah, we're taking this analogy really far. But I like it anyways.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's about it.
Yeah, more news next week for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure everything might change next week. So
yeah, it's like this week.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with Google's meeting tomorrow in Paris, and then what Microsoft is going to respond with, and hopefully next week we're talking about GPT-4.
Woo! All right, this is the Quasi Qaos podcast. We'll see you next week.
See ya.